Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and microphone and/or go to the Facebook live video feed, the link to which I'll now place in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. Tonight, our featured guests are Martín-Jaime, a composer and orchestral conductor, and Reyes Oteo, a composer and electronic luthier, both of whom join us from Malaga, Spain. Also joining us tonight is Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Martín-Jaime, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, gladly. Well, I'm mainly a composer. It's my main occupation, but my job is to be a professor of orchestral conducting here at the Conservatorio in Malaga. I have had the honor and the privilege to conduct many different orchestras around the world, and also to have performed and have been performed from many of them, and several solists of the utmost kind around this world. And also I am really happy man for all of this and for my family. And well, I consider myself as a gifted person for all of that.
Fantastic. Welcome, Reyes.
Hello, Simeon.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am also a composer. I do symphonic works and instrumental works, but maybe the more characteristic or strange in my music is that I have deeply explored in the electronics, first by improvisation, and then I started making my own devices. First devices driven by plants or by animals, and later I continued making body-driven devices, and now I'm with a cyborg project, and I'm the wife of this gifted man.
So we have a musical family here tonight. Well, it's
yes.
Very nice to meet both of you. Let's look at our first video. This is El Vuelo del Músico, a composition by from Martín-Jaime.
Mañana, en realidad dentro de un rato para nosotros, Martín-Jaime va a estrenar su primera obra. No hay tiempo ni para nervios ni nostalgias, pero el niño, aquel que tenía tanta facilidad para componer e interpretar música, todavía anda por ahí. ¿Fue Martín-Jaime un niño prodigio? Ni se lo mienten.
So, Martín-Jaime, can you tell us a little bit about this this piece and tell us how you
Yes.
began as a composer? Clearly, you're a little bit younger when you wrote that music. How did you get into composition? What's important for you as a composer?
Yes, well, my first vital personal objective was not to compose, actually. It was to conduct. I said when I was 3 years old that I wanted to be a conductor, and since then I have been trying and studying and practicing. But it's a natural thing in me that I need to compose. I said it's a kind of a fate. It's half a fate and half a curse, because I don't want to compose. In the meaning that I don't. It's not a thing I decide to do, but I need to do it. Then I started really young composing, and this piece is a part of a documentary the National Broadcasting of Spain made about my life when I was 28. I was 28. I won a very important prize of composition, international prize, that just after this concert, the Queen of Spain, the Queen Sofia of Spain, gave me personally. I was really honored by that. And this is my first piano concerto. And well, the pianist, the soloist is María Luisa Cantos, that played it absolutely wonderfully. And the orchestra is orchestra of Radio Televisión Española, the national radio and television broadcasting in Spain. It was really a very special moment. I have very good memories of that. Also very bad, because it was all a week awakened. I was not able to sleep for 7 days. A lot of the different things were confluent in the same moment. I was moving to Malaga. I was living in another city in Barcelona, and leaving Barcelona, moving here. At the same time, I was changing my job. I was in a company in an airliner, and changing to another airliner because I was working as a pilot at this time. And well,
okay, let's go back quickly to the music before we get into your
yeah,
career.
of course.
So let's watch another bit of this excerpt.
Brilliant.
Wow. So that sounds like a lot of piano. And I believe we have the privilege to have the pianist here at the broadcast tonight, María Luisa Cantos. Hello, Ms. Cantos. Thank you for an outstanding performance, clearly. Very difficult music. So tell us, Martín-Jaime, so you wrote, is all of your music more or less virtuosic, very large sounds, tonal, based on chords? Is it an extension maybe of that romantic tradition of Wagner and Richard Strauss?
Well, yes and no. It's in German. There is a word for the Jain, ja and nine at the same time. My work from a very early moment is not tonal. The thing is that I don't want to renounce to any procedure or any possibility of music just because it is a part of the past or the future or whatever. So I use a 12 tones theme from which I develop everything. It's actually it's 12 tones music, but I don't avoid any kind of chord or sound just because it's 12 tones music. For this reason, I was criticizing when I was young by 12 tones composer.
Martín-Jaime, could you demonstrate? Is there any way you could play us a little bit of what that 12 tone means? What does that sound like?
Actually, I have nothing to play it now, just here. But well, you know the 12 different notes in the chromatic scale of in music, and this theme is used by combining every sound, not repeating anyone. Then the result is evidently is not an exactly used tonal sound. It's the musical result is a bit more strange, but it's only the only between little commas, you know. It's a part of the process of creation. So I needed, and I still need, a system to compose that allows me to write whatever I need to write. So love passage and only music passage, and not be stuck on a sounding result. So I need to have everything. I want to have everything from music, and this system allows me to have.
So
I have.
So very 21st century, using all the tools at your disposition, the entire library, the whole gamut, not leaving out anything. And so maybe in other words, about the 12 tone music, you'd say it would be using every one of the white keys of the C major scale, and then also the black keys without repeating.
Indeed.
So it creates kind of a music that's very not a lot of repetition, not a lot of no one tone is dominant. Is that right?
Yes, of course. So the thing I want to pinpoint is that usually tonal music avoids the results of 12 tones music, and vice versa. So I want everything. I think that if we want to progress in music, it's just in another world, it's like jazz. So jazz is a whole thing in which everything is possible. So I cannot avoid any part of music, even jazz, even Asian scales and music, or Oriental, or African, or traditional European, or American. I need to be able to do everything with my music, and this system allows me to do. So it's not an imposition. I mean, it's not to. I don't want to create such a school or a stream. It's only it works for me, and then I can't express everything.
Let's hear another one of your younger works. This is a Gothic symphony. How old were you when you wrote this?
I was 17. I was
so
17 when
so
I
very
finished it.
fantastic.
Yes, it's
Okay.
I think it's my very last tonal music.
Okay, let's hear. Fantastic. So clearly, if I'm not mistaken, I hear a strong influence by Wagner's Tristan and Isolde. And I'm just wondering, because everything that I understand about so-called progress in Western classical music is that Tristan and Isolde is one of the works that opened up the 12-tone system by that expansive chromaticism that never stops, so that there is no real arrival, that at the arrival is actually another point of departure. So you, of course, this is a very young work of yours, but when does then, like you said, the American jazz influence or the other musical influences, when does that come in? Because this sounds extremely centered around that romantic.
Central European, yeah, absolutely. All these other influences, evidently, I am really influenced by the central, the European tradition and the European classical music, but almost in concept, my mind is open. I was this young boy in the 80s, just fighting for postmodernity when I really didn't know what was it, and but I was professing this open-minded and widely plenty of resources, and I still am on it. I'm more open to other traditions now. I use many other different musics and many other resources. Well, thanks to God, I'm progressed and matured in this.
Okay. let's hear this next excerpt from Astarte. And you said, when did you write this work?
I wrote it. It was a commitment of the music festival of Granada, which was founded by Manuel de Falla a long time ago, and it is one of my maestros, Maestro Ros Marvà, the famous conductor, and who was a scholar of Chelvidake. He said me one day, you shall be more Mediterranean. And it was a shock for me. So I tried it. I really tried it. And Astarte is one of these tries. Astarte is using much more Mediterranean tradition music, such chords and scales, but it's still 12 tones music. I wrote it when I was 29, I think.
So this is right after you had that big success with El
Yes,
Vuelo
yes.
de Músico. Okay,
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
And which orchestra is performing?
It's the Malaga Philharmonic Orchestra. Is one of the best orchestras in Spain. It was first performed by Jesus López Cobos, but this is a CD recording in which it was conducted by José Luis Temes, and very wonderful, awesome conductor.
Fantastic. So let's hear this. I apologize in advance. There's only a black screen. We'll see. We were unable to get the score into the video. Fantastic. So clearly those same influences when you were 17, but in a much more mature, open language. Is that how you hear it too?
Yes. Well, I also, my project in this work was to use the 12 tones music, because the clavier concert, the first piano concerto we had before, it's a finger breaker. Madame Cantos can tell it, but it's more acid, more bitter. But this I wanted to be sweet, not sweet at all, but a wide and wonderful work in which the 12 tones, the 12 tone theme is permanently present, but not hearable. So you can never hear the theme as a motif or anything noticeable, but it's absolutely every time present. For example, these charts are based on the 12 tones music. The melody is I used as a reference for different reasons fragment of one of the Romanian dances of Bela Bartok. So it's a very strange thing to put it in a Mediterranean work, but it was my purpose at this moment with this work.
So, wow. So perhaps considered the founder of the school of 12-tone music, Arnold Schoenberg, maybe he would be delighted, maybe he would be terrified, but you've certainly done something something extraordinary if you have written 12-tone music that is completely disguised.
Yeah, well, yeah, I believe that it is one way to develop the future of the music, and the problem nowadays I see is that we cannot see we cannot have reference. We have no point in which we can say, okay, this is the direction, or this is the matter to follow or to combat, but we have no one. So for each work, for each moment, the composer shall do it by himself and create a complete universe, not only a work and a structure and everything, every note and so on, as it was in the old times, but also the system of the chords, the sound, the everything, and it's really hard. So I think having this point of reference, at least it works for me, but it can be a point to investigate, to make a deep reflection, and maybe it will serve to any other one in this world.
Great, fantastic. So we have a comment from Madame Maria Luisa Cantos in Spanish. Bravo a Francisco Martín-Jaime, un gran compositor con una inspiración siempre romántica and musical. Bravo to Martín-Jaime, a great composer and an inspiration, always writing romantic and musical music. I believe that's a terrible Spanish translation I just said. So thank you very much, Martín-Jaime. Reyes, let's talk about your music a little bit. Tell us how you got started with, I suppose, classical Western music, and then you went into electronic music. Now you build your own interactive electronic instruments, a luthier, the word, of course, luthier, coming from the word luth, which of course came to Spain first, to the European continent from Morocco, and now you are redeveloping the whole idea as an electronic luthier. Tell us a little bit about this.
I started with violin, playing violin, but as a performer, I didn't enjoy and like playing in front of the public the violin. So when I started studying composition, that's what I now working in as an associated professor in composition. When I studied composition, I was always thinking about how could I play my own electronic music. And electronic music has a very strong problem, that is the lack of communication. Because when you play violin or any acoustic instrument, you are making the sound pressure being born of a similar pressure that is born in your muscles. So that's the communication that means to the public that what you are making is genuine and authentic and sincere. And in electronic music, when you don't use interfaces, you are only maybe pushing a little button or doing like this in a knob, and you can be suddenly giving so much energy to the public and doesn't correspond to the gesture. So maybe my way going into electronic music is a way into the embodiment of electronics. So I started developing first external instruments that you can play, maybe not in a usual way, because I made electronic instruments that were driven by worms, by animals, or by vegetables, and also by fire, by water, by whatever. And then I brought the instruments near the body in a second phase, developing and designing wearables, instruments that you can wear and put on your body, like helmets, aprons, globes, and that kind of devices. Here you can see the vegetables driven and meat.
What do you mean exactly by driven vegetables? So you are inserting electronic signals into the vegetables to hear what it sounds like?
Not exactly. They trigger different sounds depending on its physical properties, its electric conductivity, and so on.
And how do you activate the electricity? This is also an interactive interface?
Yes, of course. The way I activate these sounds is, well, every instrument I design has enclosures the gesture and the right of playing it. So in any of my performance, what you are seeing is what you are getting. If I do like this and I pick a lemon and I do like this, and this gesture that is meaningful for the music and is imbricated with what you are hearing and what you are seeing, and with the gesture, and that is an aggressive and this is bitter, and all the meanings are interlaced.
And so it's important to, the visual aspect is also important. So the audience sees you putting the energy into the lemon, and they know, okay, it's a lemon. They have a pre-recognition that it is a bitter, sour fruit. And so they already have preconceived ideas about what it means to them. Is that right?
And they
so
can hear
it's not only about
screaming.
the sound.
Yes, it's all related. Even further, I usually make one instrument for each musical work or performance I do. So everything is thought and designed and developed together. I can explain you, for example, that each instrument I make has a number of opus. It's the same as with the musical works, because I consider each instrument offers me an own and genuine way of making music, of developing sounds, and so on. Because the background of all this effort that is very hard is because I'm convinced that the hardware and software, the means one uses at the act of composing, mediatizes the results. So I try to avoid in a very extenuating way to use anything pre-made or commercial.
Fantastic. Reyes, can you tell us a little bit about this instrument that you made that is, the interface is controlled or activated by an IV? What is this? This was clearly made during the Corona pandemic. I see you there with a mask on.
Yeah, and it's very curious because maybe this is a precognition. This musical work is not mine. This is a work of my master in composition that was Diana Pérez Custodio, that she taught me in some classes at the Conservatorium, and now I'm very honored to be her companion as composer. And these are photos of an opera, an scenic device is the name she put, that is a 12 stones ritual. It's a work, a very hard work about pain, the kinds of pain. And she had the idea of these instruments and asked me to design, develop, and do the technical part to build them.
Wow. So she asked you, build me an instrument. And this is
Yeah.
what you came up with.
Can you make an instrument that goes, it's operated by an IV drop and with fire and with, I will try.
Wow. And tell us, what does it sound like?
It sounds with the samples that Diana Pérez Custodio composed. They are short or long sound samples that she composed. And there is a score that opens time windows to play these instruments by one of the three performers.
And so the interface is this, what we're looking at there. And,
yes.
And so it's activated by any kind of sound wave, be it coming from the IV drops, be it from a human voice, be it from a human finger touching it?
Not exactly. There are 8 devices. This one that we are seeing is operated by the darkness. So Yolanda Mayo, that is this percussionist that you're seeing, is playing with her hands, and it reacts, making appear 3 different sound samples, when she makes a shadow on this surface or this or this.
And so these samples, like you said, it's very digital music. It's not analog. It's not the sound of that instrument. It's the sound of what the samples that you put into a computer. Is that right?
Yes, but they are very human samples, because Diana, that is specialized in human voice, uses samples of breath in that case, for example, like or
wow, that sounds
they are not electronic sounds.
So an extremely intense opera about pain.
Yes.
And does it end well?
Yes, of course. It's a whole ritual, and every time you perform it or you watch it, you end being a different person.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's take a look at your instrument, the Kit-Kit-Peyu. Wow. So tell us, that's you wearing this Kit Piu, and the music sounds like a little bit like from an 80s dance club.
Yes, the music is an 8-bit aesthetics music. Maybe more like a chiptune of a video game of the 80s. And what you are saying is a laser show I made, and also this last project in which I'm involved, that is Kit Piu, and it's a character that has this pop and iconoclastic styles with these dreadlocks and this face mask, and is a character that can be worn by any dancer or singer or any musician or artist that need to do an interactive performance.
Okay, let's take another look at another performance. Wow. So it looks like you're in a cemetery and you're wearing this Kit Piu. But tell us, how does it work? Because it doesn't look like you're doing anything, actually. You said that you made these instruments in order to incorporate human gestures, but I failed to see the gesture during that performance.
Yes, because in this cut, this moment is static or even erratic. The way of playing this interface is with these sensors you can see shining on the chest and on the arms. And the usual gestures for playing this interface is like this. The soft touch in these surfaces on the skin. In this moment of this work is about a Spanish writer that died 2 years ago. That is Romero Esteo. That was a very awarded theater writer. And there we are honoring him in his second year after his death, in front of his grave in the historic cemetery of English in Malaga. Sorry. So this work is a travel first through the chest that symbolizes the feeling of grief for the death of this man, Miguel Romero Esteo as a human being. Then was a gesture on the mind, on this sensor on the face mask, that is the grief for the writer, for the intellectual. And then was this third stage that was more static and erratic, that was on this this helmet and throne, crown, that is like a goddess crown, because he wrote a lot about ancient goddess and so on. And this is the superation of the grief and the survival of the author through his works. That this is an universal idea.
Wow. Well, it's nice to know. I mean, that's a really quite meaningful, significant, and what a theater, what a better place, more meaningful, significant place to stage a performance than in a cemetery
Yes.
for a person you're remembering and sending
Yes.
your love. Wow. So we have a question.
And also,
yes.
sorry, and also you can see that it is linked the meaning to the gesture, because after this, this moving related to the human pain, this gesture is like the goddess that received all the intellectual work and all the artistic works in this philosophical meaning.
Extraordinarily meaningful and significant. We have a Professor Lino Rivera from St. Mary's College of California has a question or comment. Hi, Lino.
Yes, I do have a question, Reyes, and it's very nice to see your new ideas and composition. My question is, going through the history of music, starting, let's say, from Guillaume de Machaut, Léonin and Perrotin, to Haydn, to Mozart, and even to Wagner. They have sponsors. They have these patrons who supported their works. So my question to you is there an organization that supports, because this is not, let's accept it, it's not cheap to produce all of these new gadgets that you have, and to have a sponsor in order for you to have a platform or a stage to present these new compositions. Might I ask, who might be is there somebody or an organization that sponsors you to make these new compositions?
Oh, thanks, Lino, for your attention and your interesting question. The fact is that this is a very underground and lonely work. Now I don't have any sponsor nor anything like that. I'm glad I have a job and also a job very related, as I am an associated professor in the Conservatorio. So I pay my own materials. But I feel very lucky because as a composer I don't depend on other people to perform. I don't even depend on having or calling the public to see me. So my plan for every work, I have an idea, so I have to materialize it. So I work on the workshop, I do the technical part, I do the musical part, and I perform one time and I do a recording. So I don't want to repeat it, I'm going to the next one. So I don't depend on anything. And well, it's expensive, but I do what I want, and it's my liberty and my privilege.
Wow. So let's take a look at Reyes, another work by her. This is Veritas Vincit. So truth conquers.
Yes.
serpientes, fieras.
Wow. Intense. So tell us, Reyes, a little bit about this instrument.
About the work or the instrument?
Yes, please, because I see a cello there, and then
Yes, this is a
is there
work
another
for,
person, or
yes.
the cellist is controlling your electronic instrument.
This was a work commissioned by the Festival de Música Española de Cádiz, that it's an important festival here in Spain, and it needed to be easily to perform, to have an easy setup to be performed in different places. So the media is cello in acoustics and tape. It has any interactivity and so on. So what you're saying is Kathleen Balfe, that it's an awesome person. She's the soloist of cello of the Orquestra Ciudad de Granada, and it's a virtuosa and a force of the nature. Is an incredible person. And she performed this work that is a work about an ancestor of mine that was Ludovico Angulo of the 12th century, that had a very fantastic travel to arrive from Scotland to the north of Spain.
Wow, wow, inspiring. So we're running out of time, so I'd like us now to go to a video. It's a work by Martín-Jaime Medea, in which Reyes is performing an electronic instrument. This is your own electronic instrument, Reyes?
No, it's a theremin and other different samples made by myself in collaboration with the composer, with Martín-Jaime.
So let's see what happens when Martín-Jaime and Reyes are working on this artistic product together. Wow. So extraordinary. So we were going to originally end this program with a roundtable discussion. Is music in Malaga like in every other European city? But I can answer that already and say no. Malaga has the exorbitant privilege of Reyes Oteo and Martín-Jaime, two of its longtime residents who are both teachers at the Conservatorio Superior de Música de Málaga. So clearly the city has a very special scene. Tell us, Martín-Jaime, what is coming up in the future then? What about your work at the Conservatory? What can we expect to hear from you in the near term?
Well, it's a scoop new for you. It's absolutely a scoop new that 2 days ago I finished a book that will be published, I hope, very soon, about some of my investigations at the Conservatory. Because, well, you can see the Conservatory, we call it in Spain Conservatory. In Germany, there are Musikhochschule. In Austria are Universität, Musikuniversität. But it's the same thing. So our task or work is the work of a music university, and we not only teach how to conduct or how to play or how to compose, but also have a very deep and interesting labor in investigation. And I am developing some lines in phenomenology of music, following the wisdom of Edmund Husserl, and also the paradigms made by Sergiu Celibidache, the famous conductor. And well, all this is in this book that is brand new, is absolutely touching new themes that are not developed until today about phenomenology.
And Martín-Jaime, where can we find this book?
Probably at Amazon.
So we just have to look up your name on Amazon,
yeah,
or put Martín-Jaime Phenomenology of Music, something like this.
Yeah, it was the title. It will entitled in Spanish by now, and it's Fenomenología de la música en su aplicación a la dirección de orquesta. The phenomenology of music applied to musical conducting.
And we have to wait then for the English translation. We'll only be able to purchase it in Spanish.
I'm sorry, but yes.
Okay,
yes,
I understood.
Because my immediate next project is to end, at least, I have still 1 year and a half, more or less, to end my opera Medea, which preludium we have just heard. It was first performed in 2007. You have seen the Philharmonic Orchestra of Malaga with Maestro Aldo Ceccato, and Reyes Oteo playing the electronics. It's a very, I think it's very interesting as an opera. I can point some things, some little details about, for example, one of the
yes.
characters is an hologram. There are a lot of special effects and things. It's very interesting, I hope.
Okay, let's look. Let's take a look right now at your website, if I can find that, so we'll be able to find updates about this on your website. Is that right?
Yes, I hope.
So there it is.
I need a secretary.
Okay, got it.
To do all my work. Yes.
There it is. You have a blog even on phenomenology of music.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So that's all available there. Francisco Jose Martin-Jaime.blogspot.com. I will put that there in the chat room right now. So that's how we can stay in touch with you. There it is. And Reyes, tell us a little bit, what can we expect? What about your teaching? What can we hope to hear from you in the near term?
About my teaching, I think we are doing a nice and new job in the Conservatorium because we are adding some recent perspectives, as for example, the development of the hearing linked to Murray Schafer, the recently deceased musician, and a wide open in terms of aesthetics, teaching of composition, always centered in the interest and the aesthetics that feel more personally each pupil. We have a very low rate, in groups of 2 or even 1 pupil. So I try to do a job that is nearly a personal tuition.
Fantastic. So we see right there.
My next work will be on the 8th of September in the Festival Nits de Aielo y Art, that it's organized by Montserrat Prados y Llorenç Barber, that are very renowned musicians and performers, very revolutionary in Spain. And I will perform there my new work, performed by Kit Kit Pew, that is Le Blanc de Blue, based on a poem by Kiko Izquierdo.
Fantastic. So Reyes and Martín-Jaime can both be contacted through the Conservatorio, that is conservatoriosuperiormalaga.com, and they are in the composition and direction conducting department, Martín-Jaime of which is the chair. So thank you so much to Martín-Jaime. Thank you very much to Reyes.
You're welcome. All the pleasure is ours. But I'm sorry to interrupt very quickly. There is another scoop new on January next year. I will perform a composition of Reyes Oteo, very interesting, in collaboration with the University of Malaga, with the Conservatorium, and with the orchestra I conduct at the Conservatorium.
We look forward to hearing it, and we can find out about that on your website or on the Conservatorium's website.
Not yet. It is a total scoop new. Yeah,
okay.
It's a total.
We look forward to it then. So
yes.
Coming up next Wednesday, we have William Deresiewicz and Jonathan Zimmerman, the Ivy League Miseducation of the American Elite. For those who give credence to Pierre Bourdieu's theory of social distinction, William Deresiewicz's Excellent Sheep, the Miseducation of the American Elite and the Way to a Meaningful Life, a rebuke of elite American families' academic objectives, may not come as a big surprise. The premium elite's place on accumulating quote unquote institutionalized cultural capital, the likes of a diploma awarded by an Ivy League university, naturally promotes their collective identity and distinguishes their quote unquote habits from those of other social classes. But theory aside, what happens in practice when elite American families earn Ivy League diplomas but don't take seriously the age-old liberal arts education that informed the civic-minded decisions of their forefathers, and instead of taking noblesse oblige to heart, are fixated on using their capital collections to improve their own private socioeconomic standing? Novel pandemonium seems to be the result. Come welcome William Deresiewicz and Jonathan Zimmerman, author of The Amateur Hour, A History of College Teaching, the pioneering study of the evolution of undergraduate education in the United States, to our show for an in-depth discussion about the relevance of real learning. As always, all information about upcoming shows is available at www.simeonmoro.com. Again, that's William Deresiewicz and Jonathan Zimmerman, the Ivy League Miseducation of the American Elite next Wednesday. Once again, thank you so very much to Francisco Martín-Jaime, to Reyes Oteo.
Thanks very much, Simeon. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot to you and all the people watching and hearing us.
And thank you so very much to Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Thanks most of all, of course, to you, our participants, who make it all worthwhile. From Vienna, Austria, from Malaga, Spain, from the Bay Area, California, goodbye and see you next week.